Let me recap the Georgia State game real quick and we'll get started on South Alabama. Really proud of our guys. Went on the road, got a big conference win on the road, and thought we had to overcome a lot of things throughout the game. A lot of calls, didn't go our way, and we had to overcome some of those. But nevertheless, I thought our kids played awfully hard. We accomplished one of our main goals. That was to start fast. I don't think we could have started much faster. It was 10-0 with about 10 minutes to go in the first quarter. So our guys really got off to a great start, made some plays early, and was able to create some momentum that was crucial for the rest of the game, created some confidence. If you look and you go back and you see some of the biggest plays, obviously I felt like the special teams was the biggest difference, bar none. I thought the punt block and the touchdown early created a lot of momentum. But then you can go back and look at numerous plays throughout the game, whether it was Coots down in the punt on the 3-yard line, great punt on his part, great coverage by Reggie Miles. Our kickoff coverage units held them to an average kickoff return to the 18-yard line. So every time they're taking the ball, they're starting at the 18, so I thought that was a critical part of the game. And then our kicker, Steve Yartig, I thought he had a great night. 3 out of 4 with a game winner, and his kickoffs were high with a lot of hang time. He asked me, since we're building a future stadium, could we go ahead and dome it in? He seemed to like it in the dome. So, but he kicked awfully well. He was our special teams player of the week. But a lot of great efforts. We had a great punt return there at the end of the game also. That was set up nicely, and then almost got another block, and then snuffed out a fake punt. So I thought the kicking game was really solid. I thought defensively we played really well. We especially in the second half once again, but we held those guys 5 points underneath their average for the season. I think they were averaging 26, held them at 20-21. So I thought our guys did a great job there. Gave up a couple of plays, but nevertheless, when we had to, we made a lot of big plays defensively. Got a big interception at the end that sort of sealed the game by Savion Brown. I thought that was a great play on his part. I thought Dominic Tovell continues to play extremely well at the inside position as compared to when he was at the outside spot. So he's really gotten comfortable there quickly, and that's been a huge part, I think, of our defensive success. Also offensively, I thought Al Riles had a big game. I think he had over 100 yards receiving for the first time this year. was into the game, did a lot of nice things. We were not very good on third down. That was a big disappointment for the fact we've been a good third down team this year. But for the third downs that we had, we've got to convert those. A lot of third and shorts, and we did not convert those, and that's critical that we do a better job at that in the future. We did have that scripted for Jalen to come in on the third series of the game. And then, after going back and watching the game, I wish I'd have given him more series, some more opportunities rather just in the one series. When he threw the interception, I probably got cold feet to put him back in, but we really didn't give him a chance to do what he does best, and that's run the ball. So that was not good on our part of not allowing him to utilize his strengths. I think 2 of his first 3 or 4 plays were passes, although one of them was a bootleg, and that's what he does extremely well. So still expect him to play. They still will both play, and they'll both play this week. And so nevertheless, I thought Brooks managed the game well. We didn't score a lot of points. We only scored 16 offensive points, and we were 3 out of 14 on third down. So obviously we got to do better at all positions. And so I don't think that nailed down necessarily the starting spot for the remainder of the year. We'll make the decision again on Friday, but right now I would say Brooks would start, but Jalen will definitely get some playing time again this week. So big game this week going on the road, South Alabama. They're same record as us, 4-4. Still fighting to stay in the conference race for those guys too. They've got a big win over San Diego State earlier in the year on the road. And then they've been pretty good. They've got a good team, a lot of transfers that have come in and helped them right away. Coach Jones does a nice job with those guys. They got a big tight end that's hard to handle, and then they've got, to me, a really good defensive line and a good secondary, and to me, a really good group of linebackers. One who's a transfer that's that's an outstanding player. So it's going to be a big challenge. Playing on Thursday night, excited about the national exposure for our football program on Thursday night. We've climbed our way out of this hole that we sort of dug ourselves early in the year, and now we've obviously our team is more confident, and there's another shot in the arm to get to 3-1 in the conference play as we move forward for the rest of the year. So with that, open up any questions.
South Alabama's allowing over 200 yards on the ground per game. Is that something that maybe you're going to look to get Jalen a bit more work?
Certainly would hope to. And last week, they were not, had not stopped the run particularly well at all before that game, and we only had 130-something yards rushing, which is, to me, is not good enough for a team the way we're built. And when we run the ball and when we only could run for 130, to me, that's a sign that obviously we can't just run the ball unless we're running the quarterback some too to open up the rest of the run game. So that was disappointing to rush for 130 this past week.
I know we've kind of been spoiled with what Eli's been able to do over his career, but last 3 games, I think 3 yards per carry, which is way lower than what his career average has been. What can you kind of pinpoint for the reason of that, and what maybe needs to change to maybe get those big games that we're used to?
Well, I think one of the things, once Jalen's not in there, they know he's the only one who's going to carry the ball, and so they're fitting the box for him also, and making us throw the ball. And right now, when Brooks is in the game, and if he's going to be the guy, we've got to be able to throw the football more effectively if he's going to be the guy. Otherwise, we need to run the ball with Jalen more often. So we've got to be more effective in the pass game when Brooks in the game, and then when Jalen gets in there, we've got to be more effective in the run game. But I think he helps Eli when he's in the game, because it takes a little bit of pressure off of Eli, because now they've got to stop 2 guys that can run the ball. And so we've got to make sure we can run the ball. We've got to run the ball to win, and we ran it just barely enough to get out of there with a win, but not nearly what we've got to be able to do offensively to win games on this past Saturday.
How tough is it to play in that kind of stadium, kind of cavernous and mostly empty?
It was, I'll say this, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought they did a great job of pumping in plenty of noise and music. I'll give them credit there. So it wasn't just like crickets chirping. That really would have been tough. But they did a great job with I don't know if it was crowd noise or what, but it was pretty loud, pretty good vibe, but it wasn't the crowd we're used to playing in front of, here at home. But I'll say this, they're drawing better than what they've done, and I think Trent Miles is doing a really good job there. You look at their players, I was looking at their players while we were on the field for pregame warm-up. They have really upgraded their team in the last 2 years, and they battle, they've got good schemes. I think he's done a really good job building that program almost from scratch, and I really hope that they're going to allow him to continue that, because he's done a really good job.
For the guys that are still around, how much will that loss 2 years ago over there, how much will they carry that with them?
Yeah, we mentioned that yesterday in our team meeting. That's we went over there after Terrence had gotten hurt, and we didn't play very well at all, and especially didn't score any points, I don't think. And so we've got to do a much better job this time around. That's always going to be tucked away in your pocket, because we're going to make sure our kids remember last time we went there, we didn't play particularly well. They got after us and sent us home with a loss. And so we're going to be much more prepared this time. We're going to make sure our kids are fresh. We're going to make sure that they're prepared, and they're excited. I'm going to tell you, our team right now is just like they've been doing all year, but as we've climbed out of this hole and we've got some wins as of late, they really have gained a new sense of urgency and excitement. And obviously, that anytime you got winning locker rooms, that fixes a lot of things.
Coach, how early were y'all up and at it? How early were y'all up and at it Sunday, getting a game plan together?
Oh, first thing, sun's up, we was here. So it was we had to make up some time. Normally on Sunday mornings we take our families to church, and then meet up here right after. But we had to make up some time for what we normally don't get, for what we normally do get. And so it's been a grind, but we're on schedule. I like where we at schedule-wise as far as our coaches with the game plans. Today's practice is we're practicing on a Monday, which is today, which is typically a day we take off. So you just move everything up. So we're practicing as if it was Tuesday. but we're putting in our first down and third down plan in today. Normally it's just first down, but we'll do both today.
What's the
Coach.
biggest? What's the biggest challenge with basically 4 days to prepare for a game?
Well, one is making sure you've got everything in, and the key when you're playing a short week, when you have one less day of practice, is being careful how much you install, game plan wise. If you're putting a lot of new wrinkles in and you don't have enough time to prepare for all of those, then sometimes it can backfire on you. So you got to be careful in that aspect. So it's, how much of new game plan stuff can your kids absorb, and obviously be able to run efficiently with a shorter week of practice. And sometimes in short weeks, more is better, or less is better, I should say.
Coach, they present a little bit more balance on offense than Georgia State does. Obviously, having Xavier Johnson back when he's healthy, 190-something yards last week. But also, when they do throw the ball, Clements has been sacked 21 times. So their offensive line has given up. Talk a little bit about that defensive lineup you had this week with the quick tackles and Chris in there. That gives you a little bit more quickness, and then you've got Darzell and those guys on the outside.
Well, that's helped us, having Darzell on the outside. Chris Prater had an awfully good game the other day, and so I think I'm hoping our pass rush will be effective. They've gotten much better to me in the last few weeks, especially with Chris as he's come back into the mix here mid-season, where he was out the first part of the season, and we didn't have Darzell. So our pass rush has definitely increased or improved, and we'll definitely need that on Saturday. Like I said, they've got some good targets, some good wideouts, and some tight ends, and obviously a good back. So we'll definitely have to get some pressure on the quarterback and take some pressure off our DBs.
One of their linebackers, Blake Dees, he set a school record last week with 20 tackles. Is it possible to quietly have 20 tackles, or is that something that really jumps out on film?
Well, that jumps out. You get 20 tackles, you're all over the field, and he was just that. And so we've got to do a great job staying on our blocks, and we've got to make sure we're doing a great job putting our kids in position to be successful. But he's all over the place.
Is that they have a linebacker making that many plays? It's not a strong safety coming up with 20 tackles. Does that seem kind of out of balance a little bit, that they've given up some yards against the run and they have a linebacker making that many plays?
Well, nevertheless, whether it's behind the line of scrimmage or if it's down the field, he's getting to the football.
Yeah.
Whether it's if it's his guy or not, but he's definitely getting to the football, and you got to give him credit, a lot of credit for that. That's hard to make 20 tackles in a game. That's pretty impressive.
You mentioned not trying to install too much. Do you try and install anything different? 2 months into the season, everyone's got film on you. You got film on everybody.
Oh, you're always trying to break tendencies. You have your base plays, then you have your counters off of your plays, and you have your play action pass off your plays. But then as the season goes along, you're looking to see how teams are defending you, and then you also are trying to add things off what you already do. You don't ever really wholesale add new plays. You just add wrinkles of what you already do to try to take advantage of what a team may show on film. And so every team always looks for opportunities to add something to give them an advantage throughout the game.
2 straight weeks with the defense and the special teams kind of winning you guys ball games. Is there a sense that we need to get the offense going now? Because you can't really
No
sustain
question.
that.
No, the offense has got to get rolling. That's 2 weeks in a row, and we've got to be able to run the football. And for a team that prides itself or really runs the ball first, 135 yards is not good enough, especially against Georgia State. Nothing against them, they just had not been very successful stopping the run. And then we didn't go over there and particularly play very well. And so we've got to play better. We're addressing some things, and we're going. Both quarterbacks are still going to play and get an opportunity. I wish we'd have gave Jalen a couple more opportunities instead of being so quick to pull him right there. But that's just as much my fault. But should have given him another opportunity and allowed him to do what he could do. Allowed him to do what he does best.
Tim kind of mentioned, how the team might respond to South Al given what happened 2 years ago. How are you expecting a guy like Brooks? That was his first start. I know it didn't go how he expected. How do you think he maybe kind of approaches this week, given what happened last time?
Well, first of all, I hope he's got a little more confidence, after getting 4 quarters under his belt. And so he's got some playing time now back under his belt. The last time he went down there, he had maybe 10 plays under his belt. Not many. He finished up Georgia State game, and then went into that game. Not a lot of playing time. Now he's got some playing time under his belt. This is not his first chance to get on the field like it was 2 years ago. And so obviously he's matured, and he's a much better quarterback now than he was then because he was much younger and not much experience. And so I'm sure he's looking at an opportunity to go over there and play better than we did as a team 2 years ago.
What do you think's been the key to the season Al Riles is having leading the team? He's having a really career year for him. What's been the key for him?
Well, one is, we're getting him the ball, and he just needed some opportunities with the football. When he gets the ball, he's effective, and there's been times when we have not done a good job of getting him the ball, but when you get Al involved, he's pretty effective now, whether it's the jet sweeps, running the ball, whether it's in the passing game. And so I've been really proud of Al and his leadership and his work ethic, and I'm glad he's a big part of this offense.
Go ahead.
When you were able to block a kick or two, besides getting the actual immediate benefit of getting points or changing field position, does it kind of give you a side benefit in the future for your future opponents? Like, hey, this gives them one more thing to kind of maybe worry about or have to study a little bit or prepare for a little bit more?
I think anytime you got a team that really comes after the punts, it's always a concern. It is for us in our protections when we're playing a team. You always have got to put a little more practice time in. You really have that sense of urgency when you're playing a team that likes to come get the punts. And so I thought after we got that first punt block, that really changed that punter's mindset, because the next one he shanks it out of bounds and we get the ball at the 50. And then we come back later on and we do another hold-up return, and we got the great return by Gary Haynes. And so because they were really worried about the fake, so they got everybody in their block, and then it's a lot easier to hold them up. And so that always can help you, and we're going to continue trying to come get punts because we've been pretty good at it. And you tend to have year to year sometimes a couple of guys who just have a knack for getting there, and some guys just have a better knack than others. They may not be as fast as others, but they just have a knack, and we've got a couple of guys who's got a knack, and so we're going to continue trying to utilize those guys in ways to give us an advantage, hopefully in the kicking game.
Coach, and maybe I missed it during the game. Did you guys do something similar like you did against ULM, where you just, after you blocked it, it was in his mind, and then you pulled everybody. You didn't have anybody back, because Coach Miles said that when he made the decision to keep the ball, and on the fake punt, it was the punter's decision. It was an option he had. It wasn't called from the sideline. So there's something in his mind that made him call that.
Yeah, I don't know, but I know I don't know what they're saying there, but it was a fake design. So I don't know if the punter called the fake, but it was a fake call because nobody ran downfield for their guys, and they tried to bring somebody underneath. We had a punt blocks for that one. We almost got that one. Matter of fact, Travis jumped over the ball on that one, but they had a fake called, and I don't know if the punter may have called the fake on his own when he got on the field, but it was a fake dialed up, and then at least it looked like it, at least on film.
That's what I'm asking him. He obviously, like against ULM, when y'all brought everyone, y'all had no one back to block. He'd seen it and just made the call.
Maybe so. So maybe they thought they could slip somebody out like a screen or something. I'm not for sure, but nevertheless, we came after it, and our guys did a great job of knowing who they have when a fake occurs, and everybody stayed with their man and executed it really well.
It isn't the first time that I've seen a punter actually have the option to go ahead and call the fake himself. I know that there are some schools that do that, especially veteran senior punters. Does Coots have that option?
Coach asked me, he said, "Coach, do I have the option of running the ball?" And I said, if you run it and you don't make it, keep running to Australia. I said, I don't know if you can run, but swim. Run and then swim. And so we don't have that option here. That is not in our playbook. I can assure you that. So.
Coach, how much have those UAB transfers helped out?
I think quite a bit. You bring in some veteran players that have already a lot of games under their belt, and they picked up quite a few. They hired an assistant coach from UAB, and I'm sure that aided in bringing some players with them. Obviously, one of their linebackers who's making a lot of plays is a UAB transfer, and so I would definitely think it's helped. Georgia State had some UAB transfers that were effective players, and so.
Coach, how's your offensive line playing right now?
You know, our starting five are playing really good. I thought some of the guys that went in, I thought Goodacre struggled a little bit. He's going to be a good player. He's just not quite ready. You know, it's just a lot on him right now. He's just a redshirt freshman. We're going to also this week look at a couple of the guys also to see if there's a better combination. If for some reason, if Eddie can't go in the future, but it looks like Eddie's going to be fine, which is a huge plus. But when those five are in, they're doing okay. You know, you're never as good when you don't have a four-year starter at left guard like when Michael Quave was there, and that's been a big loss. But I'm gonna tell you, Grant Horst is a guy that guy loves it. He's working hard. It's the rest of our guys, and Jacqueline Withrow was our offensive player of the game. He really played well, so he's making huge strides. And so we're young up front. We're doing a good job, and we just got to keep getting better, and that's what we're trying to do as a team, because we've got so many new players and so many new spots.
How's Eli coping with frustration the last couple of games?
I find that guy's a team player. He's a team player, and you know we've got to get him some more hits, some opportunities for some bigger plays. We probably didn't give him enough chances for some bigger plays, but he's a warrior. He comes to work every day, and if he stands there and watches Torrey run the ball, he's clapping for Torrey as hard as anybody in the stadium. He's the ultimate team player, and that's why you know he is who he is.
And Devin Scott sighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got some quality play.
How difficult has it been to get him involved in the offense?
You know, we probably have not given him a fair shake, to be honest with you. And he's had some really good weeks of practice, and that's why he's getting to play now. And we need to get him involved. We've thrown him a couple balls. I think last week we threw him one that we got a PI on, and might have been this week. I can't remember. This week. And so we gave him a shot to go get a ball, and it was a little bit underthrown, and we got the PI. And he's a guy that's got track speed who can get behind you. And I'm just proud of that kid. That kid's worked awfully hard. That's a kid that's been here now going on 4 years, never missed a class, never missed a meeting, fast, works hard. He's going to help us before it's all over.
Arbuckle was having a huge game against y'all in the first 3 quarters, and then the fourth quarter just shut them down. They had like 3 for 12 in the fourth quarter. So I know that the second half has been y'all's rallying point the whole season, but what particularly then were you?
I think in the second half, one thing, I think we wear teams down a little bit. I think our team wears you down a little bit, and I think our pass rush really started finally getting home with Darzell, Chris Prater, and I think that helped because the best pass coverage is a great pass rush, and he had some time there in the first half, and you know when I decided to punt it after the timeout, and we pinned them at the 3, I was like, boy, great decision now. But then 2 plays later, they're back at the 50, and I'm like, well, dang, should have went for it. And so, you know, we sort of let them out of the hole right there. But nevertheless, in the fourth quarter, that, you know, I think just keep coming at them, I think just wears them down. And Darzell Washington will wear you down, having to block that guy all day, and he finally started getting home and at least making him move his feet and getting him off his spot, as we like to call it with a quarterback.
Tovel's been
obvious.
obvious.
Around a little bit, because I think he had a sack from the middle and he had a sack from the edge.
Yeah, we got the ability with some calls to move him around a little bit, try to get him matched up, and he did a good job.
Tovel's obviously been a really super productive player over his first 3 years here, but I mean, he's never been quite like this with the 7 sacks so
Right.
far. So what's been kind of the difference in that part of his game?
Probably giving him some more opportunities to do that. You know, we're bringing him a little bit more. When you bring him, he's really effective, and he's a good pass rusher too. Because when you blitz, you have to be a good pass rusher, because you're not going to be coming unimpeded. You're going to be blocked also, and so he's done a really good job defeating blocks and getting to the quarterback and getting not only sacks but pressures.
Coach, I know as a head coach, you always have tons on your plate, but I feel like this season, more so, I know I've only been here 2 years, you're having to, you know, this guy we should have gave him more touches. We should maybe do. I mean, are you finding yourself having to, how do you grade your year so far?
Well, probably like everybody else, not very good. That's probably how everybody else would grade it too. But it's been one of those years, and you have those years, and where you have leaks in the dam, and you're plugging them with your fingers, and sometimes you're reaching up and sticking a toe in it. And by the time you get this one plugged, boom, you spring another leak with another injury or another situation. It's just, been one of those things, and we were probably due to have some injuries, because we've been very fortunate not to have very many. And so I think the law of averages caught up with us in that situation, but that's part of coaching. To be honest with you, sometimes that's when you feel like you're doing the most. You know, maybe not be all the time the right decision, but you got a lot of decisions to make. Some of them are good, some of them didn't work, so then you change it, try something else until you finally get that dam plugged. And I think right now, by the way we've been playing and the way we've come on and won our last 3 out of 4 games, that we're starting to get better. We're starting to see some of the fruits of the labor, of the hard work we put in, of developing some young kids, moving some people around, having to make changes to personnel. We've made a lot of personnel moves throughout the season, not just on offense with the offensive line and the quarterback, but in the secondary and at linebacker. It's been a lot of managing the team, but that's the main job, you know, as a head coach. And so hopefully, though, some of these changes now will help us as we're in the stretch run. We've got a chance to finish strong, but you know, we got a very good South Alabama team standing right in front of us, and we're both 4-4. Both teams are trying to stay in the conference hunt, and both teams are trying to get to bowl eligibility. So this is a big game for both teams.
One more.
Team's got a chance to get over 500 after that really poor start to the year. Does that at all enter guys' minds? Just the mental satisfaction of having a winning record again?
Oh, I think so. I think they know we're really close, and I think they've seen themselves, they've felt themselves digging themselves out of the hole, and that's pretty rewarding too. You start slow, and at times you know we played really well early. Some games we just didn't win. You know, Kentucky, we played awfully well. Northwestern played solid. Then we didn't play well for 2 weeks. Then we came back, played well against Texas State. So we've been really up and down. So hopefully now we can play a little more consistent football, and hopefully now with guys settling in like Tovell, like Grant Horst, some of those guys, our secondary settling in a little bit. Our kickers are experienced now. Hopefully we're a much better team than we were, you know, earlier in the year when we were making a lot of mistakes that, you know, new players make at certain positions, and hopefully we can continue improving. And if we do that, we're going to have a lot of good football left to be played. So we're pretty excited about the opportunities. All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.